thud that you heard at about 4 o'clock this afternoon was the sound of your investments and retirement accounts plunging as the Dow closed down almost 600 points today. You can blame inflation and comments that we got from Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell as he was testifying before Congress. He said interest rates are likely to go higher than the Fed previously thought because of persistent inflation. Joining us live to try to help us unpack all of this is Mark Hamrick. He is the senior economic analyst and Washington bureau chief for Bankrate.com. All right, Mark, I was a little dramatic there with the big thud that we all heard, but it was not a good day for investments. A lot of people, even if you don't know it, you've got some skin in the game in terms of what happens on Wall Street. But really, this is about inflation and interest rates. And why is it, when we've seen inflation kind of easing a little bit, what is it about the latest data that has the Fed chair saying we're going to have to stick with these interest rate hikes?
Yeah, great to be with you again, Michael. Obviously, the chairman is preparing the markets and everyone else for the possibility that the Federal Reserve will be raising interest rates even more than what it had previously indicated through its so-called summary of economic projections. That is a piece of paper or a set of documents released every other Federal Reserve meeting, and the next meeting is set for March 22nd. We speak here on the 7th of March, and between then and now, we have job openings data tomorrow, the monthly employment report on Friday, and next Tuesday, the consumer price index. So he and his colleagues want to see what all that data looks like, and if inflation sort of raises its persistent head once again, in the sense of we thought inflation might have been leveling off, and yet the latest data had indicated it was resurging once again. And the job market, oh my goodness, Michael, we added 500,000 jobs in the month of January, and then employment rate went to the lowest since 1969. And all that, Michael, after the Fed's been raising interest rates for a year now.
Yeah, and it's so strange because you hear the jobs news and you're like, oh, that's so good. But if it's, if that part of the economy is overheated and it means higher interest rates, it's not so good. So it's a weird time. I know the goal of the Fed is to get inflation down to 2%. I mean, it's been a long time since we were there. I want to play a bit of what Chairman Powell had to say earlier today about that 2% goal.
My colleagues and I are acutely aware that high inflation is causing significant hardship, and we're strongly committed to returning inflation to our 2% goal. Over the past year, we've taken forceful actions to tighten the stance of monetary policy. We have covered a lot of ground, and the full effects of our tightening so far are yet to be felt. Even so, we have more work to do.
So more work to do, I think, is sort of the headline there, Mark. But what do you say to those people who believe that, as he mentioned, this stuff doesn't happen overnight, and that maybe all these interest rates that they've done so far, it just takes a while for them to make it through the economy. And the worry is if you do too much, you put us in recession.
Yeah. Well, recession is inevitable, Michael. The question is when they occur and their depth and duration. People might have already forgotten that we had a very brief one, but a sharp one in March of 2020 when we we had the unemployment rate rise to 14.7%. The Fed doesn't want to cause a recession, but, the reality is that inflation hurts just about everybody. And it was painful, as you said today, because the Fed sort of speaking loudly and carrying a large monetary policy stick sent the stock market back down, although I think the S&P 500 still up so far this year, but we got a long way to go.
Finally, Mark, I've got a little more than a minute left here. In terms of interest rate hikes, I mean, we talk about the impact that has on people watching. If you go, to get a new mortgage, or if you're trying to get a car, obviously credit cards are the big ones, but also in terms of our retirements and all of that. For people who are watching right now who are young versus people who are maybe, 40s, 50s, that's still young, I know, versus people close to retirement, how should we be viewing this differently based on where we are in that age?
Well, what I would say is the universal impact of inflation is negative. The one positive thing that's happening in the current environment is the returns on savings are the best in over a decade. So if you want to put money in a high yield savings account, a certificate of deposit, and remember, most Americans live paycheck to paycheck, so they really do need to put that money into emergency savings. Many people are going to be getting income tax refunds if they haven't already. But they also need to continue to save for retirement, to take advantage of compounding to beat inflation over the long term. So this is just a cycle. It's a tough one, admittedly, but we need to try to walk and chew gum at the same time with our personal finances, paying down debt, saving, paying our bills.
We always learn a lot when we have you on the show. Mark Hamrick is Senior Economic Analyst and Washington Bureau Chief for Bankrate.com. Thanks so much for your time, Mark. We appreciate it.
My great pleasure. Thank you.
All right.